Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Lex the Great here. This is an update. So, as I mentioned briefly in my last deathmatch video using Savage Worlds, a lot of you might have missed it because it was well into the video. I'm transitioning Shadowscape. Still using Savage Worlds, that's pretty obvious, but because of the fact that this is a new game to me, I'm in the process of learning it, and the deathmatch videos have been kind of a self-learning experience and reading the book on the side. I decided to reduce the workload for Shadowscape. I have three characters at the moment. I've lost a few in the past. One just left. So right now we have, let's see, Wholf, Rayla, and Garlox. I'm going to retire Rayla and Garlox. And here's why. Narratively, I might not even talk about it, but I want to mention it here. They will just be retired. So hopefully you haven't gotten too hooked on them or too devoted. To apologize about this, but here's why. I want to transition the Shadowscape series into the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf was a short-lived campaign I did some time ago. It seemed to actually have a small following of viewers who liked it. I liked that series because it was one individual. I think I used several systems in it. Might have been Maze Rats, I don't recall. The Savage Worlds, as obsessed as I am with the system at the moment, I'm in this Savage Worlds marathon in my mind. I think bringing back the Lone Wolf, ironically the same name as my character, Wolf, in the Shadowscape campaign, works perfectly. So, because it's going to be one wild card, one actual character, Wolf will get an extra edge called Toughness, or Tough, which is actually, I think, a legendary edge. But this being my own solo play, I'm modding the game, house ruling it to my liking. This gives him a +1 in toughness, so he'll be at 8. I may include an extra Benny every so often. We'll see. I may also include a house rule rolling the wild die with damage. There is a rule in Savage Worlds called Be a Hero, which lets you roll, I think, on the fourth wound, or you become incapacitated on the fourth wound. You don't die. It's something like that. As expected, I could homebrew that or house rule it to something letting him survive or give his very one last kick or survive somehow. Again, I want Wolf to survive and grow and evolve as a character, but I don't want to babysit him too much. I don't want him to uh, not have challenges. I want him to be challenged, but I want to give him a chance. So, with these very small adjustments, nothing else changes. I have not increased any of the traits. I have not increased any skills, just the toughness and the edge of tough, along with that potential Benny, the fourth Benny, and the Be a Hero modded a bit for this scenario, for this campaign. So the Lone Wolf will be the title of the next uh, actual Shadowscape campaign. But another thing I want to discuss in regards to the lore is that I'm sticking with the Dragon Stones. I've used this mechanic before where Dragon Stones is this world-bearing artifact that's scattered across the land. And Exeter's been my go-to for a generic world that I just kind of throw things into it, build upon it. Well, the Dragonstones, as we've recovered a few, and I need to keep track of that because I'm already forgetting. The first one I think was a Firestone or the Shadowstone. Then we got the Firestone. The King Roland has two stones in his possession. Lone Wolf, as he's called, works for the king. He is a specialist in retrieving rare artifacts. That's it. That's the story. These artifacts, formerly dragons, as dragons are extinct in the land of Exeter, are spread across the land in the most random possible areas. Top of the tower, in a haunted village. Now we're off to find one in a opposing kingdom, an adversary of the existing kingdom. We know that there's that little subplot of a potential battle, a war, which Savage Worlds has a mechanic for mass battles. That would be absolutely epic. And if we are 50 or more episodes into the Shadowscape slash Lone Wolf series, I may get to that, depending on how much Lone Wolf, the wolf himself, sticks with the king, continues working for the king. So that's the very, very broad story to the now titled Lone Wolf series. So I hope you guys continue to watch this campaign, but I want to make that adjustment because another reason is my work hours are growing. I'm getting to season right now. It's very busy, and mentally, I just don't want to handle all of these little things in the campaign. So I'm going to get rid of a few characters while I try to continue learning Savage Worlds, running the campaign Lone Wolf, and occasionally do those very, very fun death matches, which are just a learning experience for me, but having fun with it because they go on for a while. Also, my friend GM Ryan, he's been on the channel before, long ago in the earlier D&D videos. He's a fan of Warhammer, but Warhammer, which I have no like actual knowledge about, just the basics, the five I think phases you can do, roll all d6s. He is a fan of Warhammer, but the issue of Warhammer is that you need a budget. It is a very expensive hobby, which all in itself could be very rewarding, but him or me, we don't have money to buy all the figures or the room for the maps, the parts, and the scenery, etc. Everything that comes with Warhammer. There could be some virtual tabletop methods, but again, I prefer in person play, traditional. I've talked about that in a much, much earlier video. But he wants to learn Warhammer. I'm offering the idea of using Savage Worlds to him. I'm gifting the potential of the deathmatch videos I'm doing and creating my own custom home house rule set for using Savage Worlds mixed with Warhammer. That is what I'm currently doing on the side. Just wanted to mention that because I told him about Savage Worlds. He was intrigued because the combat rules are it has hints of how Savage Worlds is based on a strategy tabletop battle game, I believe. So Warhammer is also a tabletop, war game, battle game. Um, so I figured, why not blend the two together? Not the sophisticated rules of Warhammer, but still controlling aliens or humans, modern, future, past, medieval, whatever, using Savage Worlds combat and potentially a mass battle. So that's up in the air. Just want to mention that out there. That also adds to the fact that Savage Worlds is just running around in my mind right now. So that's really it for this update video. It's mainly about my transition from Shadowscape to the Lone Wolf. I'm bringing back the Lone Wolf, and that'll be the continuing title of the series. As always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you next time.